And the more we become aware of the multiple communities we're a part of, it relieves pressure from the relationship. Because we can't depend on each other to provide for everything for us, including the inspiration to better ourselves. So we want to wake up to different possibilities from the relationships that are all around us, and reflect on this kind of symbiotic relationship where we're contributing to the constellation of relationships, and the fact that we're aware of this constellation of relationships positively impacts us and supports us and inspires us. This is in one way, when I think about the constellation of relationships, and in the ways that we've spoken about now, it's been more with the larger communities we're a part of, the ones that are less in our lives, that are more distant, and where we can be more aware. And as we're more aware of these constellations of relationships, then they influence us in all kinds of ways, and we can influence them, and they impact our relationship, and they impact the quality of our relationship. Now, in the personal sphere, you can easily see that we have a network of friends. We have family. We have our spiritual friends. We have those friends that also, we have a much smaller circle maybe of the friends that we're really close to. And for many of us, often the first sense of this is, but I'm only really close to my partner. I don't really have that close relationship with enough other people who are close enough geographically or close enough in shared aspirations in the way I am with my partner, to really consider them, real soulmates and soul-level friends. What I want to do is open that up a little bit, because as I started thinking about this and spending some time reflecting on it all, I realized that a lot of our views on the closer networks that we have and how fulfilling they are or not, and our ideas about them and judgments about them and whether they're close or not close, really has to do with how we're interpreting or valuing what's there. And it's not that objective. And if we have a personality type that emphasizes abundance, we're going to relate to, I have tons of friends. My husband and I have tons of couples that we're friends with, and they're friends with each of us individually, and they're friends with us as a couple. We're friends with them as a couple. You can start to see that there are, different ways of moving in and out of these relationships. And another person could look at the same relationships and feel that, there's so much difference between our relationship and their relationship, between our age and their age, between the quality of time we spend, that they're really not considered friends. So where we want to draw that line of our personal sphere or network, I'd like to expand it out a little bit. One of the things that often happens in couples is that there's a sense of isolation for one of the individuals, or a sense of isolation around the relationship itself. And there can be a lack of appreciation for the fact that as a unit, we and our partners are all often in relationship with other couples. And as we were seeing with the neighborhood example or the nation-state example, there's a lot more possible if we start to value the fact that we're in each other's spaces, we're in a constellation of relationship. There are bonds there. And maybe those bonds could be deeper or different, But rather than looking to lack first, it's going to be worthwhile to spend some time looking at the nodes of intersection that are already there between us and our partners and the other couples we're in relationship with. We'll start to appreciate the different types of influences that go back and forth. Maybe we have friends who we've known for a long time that don't live in the same place that we live in, so we don't get to see them that often. But somehow or other, our lives as a couple are still connected with our lives as a couple. What's that about? What's the nature of the bond? What's the nature of the relationship? How does it influence us? How does the quality of our relationship support them? If they know we're happy and developing and evolving and deepening in our trustworthiness and intimacy, does that support them? Start to look at how we really affect each other, and look at some of the examples where maybe we're in relationship with other couples always as couples, and maybe it'd be there's an opening and it'd be valuable for each of us to start to get to know the others more as individuals. There are different ways to work with our relationships so that we just start expanding them and exploring a little bit more. And then also, if there's a sense of isolation in the relationship or a sense of lack, if you start really looking, starting from the bonds that are there or the constellations of relationship, the communities that are already there, and start looking at what exists in those intersections between us and other couples, we may also start to see ways to enhance those, deepen them, make them more interesting, or simply value them more. Because we do part of this perspective that we're working on relationship is seeing our relationship as part of an environment, and a very important part, one that it really has an influence and is influenced by the environment, and seeing it as our relationship as a consciousness that we share between us, and that the quality of that consciousness influencing and being influenced by the quality of consciousness of the people around us. And I think there tends to be a lot more to work with than we put the energy into. There's a lot more to work with in terms of these different communities than we make the effort to do, and also as a couple. And if we do make the effort as a couple, again, it's this kind of dynamic, co-creative movement that takes the attention off of friction with each other and puts our attention on what we're creating between us in this larger environment. So as we work this, I mean, again, part of it is because we really want to be contributing agents that really create a sense of peace and stability and joy. And part of it is also we want our relationships to work, and we want them to be happy, and we want to feel rich, and we want to feel rich with our partners, and we want to be part of the way we enrich that is by opening our awareness to what's around us and the qualities of relationships that are around us.